Okay, today we are talking about possessive nouns, and I beg of you to please learn how to use these correctly because I have experienced many people who do not, and it's learn how to use them just for everyone's sake. Okay, so what is a possessive? A possessive noun. It's a word that we use with an apostrophe that shows ownership of something and it acts like an adjective. Okay, so if you're taking notes, I want you to get all of these things down. We use it with an apostrophe, shows ownership, and acts like an adjective. It's a person, a place, or a thing that owns something. Okay, it shows ownership. And notice my big arrow to the apostrophe. Apostrophe, looks kind of like a comma, but we put it up at the top. So keep that in mind. All right, some examples. I borrowed Jim's book to study for the test. Jim owns the book. It is his book. It is the book belonging to Jim. So we use apostrophe S. It shows possession. It is a possessive. The boys' bikes were locked in the bike rack. The bikes belonging to the boys. It is possessive. This is one of the worst marches we've ever had. It's not possessive. Marches is not possessive, but you would be surprised at the amount of people who would put an apostrophe S for marches, but it is not possessive. Erica's dog had to be put down. Erica owns the dog, showing ownership. It's possessive. The foxes fought over the last bite of food. Not possessive. It's plural. It's not possessive. So I want you to pay attention to some of the things that might trip you up, like marches and foxes. When we say it or we think it, it sounds like it would be, right? But it's not. It's just plural. So just keep this in mind as you go through these slides. So here are some of the rules. I'm going to encourage you to pause and get this down because these rules are very simple and you can keep coming back to them as you're going through any assignments. But let me just go through them quickly. And like I said, pause and jot these down. But if it's a singular noun, you add an apostrophe S. Example, boys. So the boy's dog, the boy's bike, the boy's ice cream. If he owns it and it's just one boy or one person, add apostrophe S. For plural, you just add apostrophe. So these are regular nouns with regular endings. So if you have a plural noun with a regular S ending, so boy becomes boys, you have one boy, two boys, you just add an apostrophe at the end of the word. That's it. Okay? If it's a plural without an S, so these are some of those irregular nouns now, you add an apostrophe S. So men is a plural, but there's no S ending, so we add apostrophe S, okay? Then these, and this is another thing I want you to write down. The nouns that have those special endings where we add ES to make it plural, so fox ends in X, to make it plural, we say foxes, we add ES to that. You're still just going to add the apostrophe after the S, okay? Just keep that in mind. Those special endings can really trip us up, but if it's a plural that ends in an S, all you have to do is add the apostrophe. Okay. Again, I'm going to have you pause here, and I want you to practice. In the first column, you have the noun that I want you to work with. So like the first one is branch. In the next box, you're going to write the singular possessive form of branch. So like the branches leave or something like that. In the next box, you're just going to write the plural form, not the plural possessive, just the plural form of branches. And in the last box, you're going to write the plural possessive form of the word branch. And you're going to do that for every single word. So pause here, practice, go through every single one. When you're finished, hit play, and we'll check your work. So now that you've finished, check your work here. And I apologize that my video is cutting off some of the plural possessives. But if you go ahead and check all of your work, some of them like Jess might have thrown you off a little bit, or Fox or church might have thrown you off a little bit. Foxes, the plural possessive would be Foxes apostrophe. And churches, the same kind of thing. You'd have the es ending and the apostrophe at the end. So you can't see it, but that's what it would look like. All right. Some of these weird ones. I want you to read through, and I want you to try and punctuate it correctly. So like the dog belonging to the Foss family. Well, how would you write that if you're going to write it possessive? Okay, I want you to do that for each single one. So again, you can pause here, write each single one, and I'll bring up the answers for you to check. All right, so there are the answers. The Foss's dog, Fosses, it's everybody in the Foss family, Fosses. It's plural. We add an es ending and apostrophe after that. The sandals belonging to Jesus becomes Jesus's sandals. Now, this is the more current, like the currently accepted form. You can also, I think some people still accept Jesus apostrophe. So if the name ends in an S, you just add the apostrophe and then it's just Jesus sandals. Either way, I believe, are still correct. But Jesus' sandals, and that's how you would say it, Jesus's. The book belonging to the Bell family becomes the Bell's book. The rock belonging to the Moss family is the Moss's rock. And the ring belonging to Tess is Tess's ring. Okay? That is possessive nouns. So remember, possessive nouns show ownership, act like adjectives, and you use an apostrophe. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments and I will try to get back to you. As always, I do have these slides available for purchase and I'll put the link in the description. And I hope you enjoyed this little mini lesson on possessives, and take care.